Hello everyone, I'm Evan Henry, and today I'm here with my mom and dad, Wilda Henry and George Henry. Now we recently completed a video about dad, and today I wanted to spend some camera time with mom and talk about some of her accomplishments. Now just like dad was, I know that she's not too excited about the attention that this video project offers, but mom, you got to remember that there's some young members of our family that don't know about some of the things that you did just a few years back. Say hello to everyone, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Dad's having a little problem with his voice today, but he says hi. And Dad, we're going to let you go ahead and go into the living room and take a nap if you want. Tell him goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, let's go ahead and get started at the beginning, Mom. What year were you born?
I was born December the 6th, 1931.
All right, we've got a few baby pictures here of Mom. This is one of the earliest ones that I know of. Cute little gal. This one, how old were you? Do you think you were in this picture, Mom?
I don't know, just a few months old.
Month or two old.
Mm-hmm.
This one, what? 1.5 maybe?
Yeah, 1.5 or 2. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, maybe it was 3.
Cute little girl. And this one, probably what, 4 maybe?
I'm thinking of 5 or 6 in that one.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, did you have any siblings? Were you you were the oldest, right?
I was the oldest, but I had 2 brothers. One was Roger, and he was born in 1935, and my other brother was born, Paul Lamar, was born in 1943.
We've got some pictures here. Here's the 2 brothers together, Roger and Lamar. It's kind of crooked, but there we go. Here's a picture of all 3 of them, Mom being the oldest, and then Roger and little Lamar in front of Mom. And here's some senior pictures even that I stumbled across. This is Roger's senior picture. And we got one of Lamar here too. Well, where were you born at, Mom?
Well, not far from this house right here. I was born on Snowberry Road, which is just a couple miles away from me, or maybe not even that far away from me.
I don't have a picture of that, but we hope to get a picture and maybe include it in a slideshow at the end of this video. So it's about 2 miles from here to the west if you go on New Road to the west and then go south just a little ways on Snowberry Road. Do you know how long you lived in that house?
Well, I don't really remember because Mom and Dad moved into North Liberty, and I was just a kid, a real small kid, I think, when they moved.
Well, how did your parents end up in the Walkerton, North Liberty area?
Well, they just moved there, and Grandpa Oxley moved here to North Liberty, and he became a preacher at the Christian church there in North Liberty, and he had his daughters there, and Dad, Calvin Kronk, met Clara May, and they were married, and Calvin's parents lived in Wakarusa, and they moved here. They walked here with their horse and wagon full of their furniture. They walked all from Wakarusa.
About 25 miles, I
Yep,
believe.
that's about right.
Quite a distance to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were born right here at the beginning of the Depression. It continued right up until your early teenage years. I'm sure that your parents, and I've got a picture here of them. This is Calvin and Clara May Kronk in later years. I'm sure they did everything they could to provide their family with all of the needs, but these were really difficult times back in the Depression. Can you elaborate just a little bit?
Oh, yeah. We, Grandpa and Grandma Kronk, fed us quite a bit from off of their farm that they had, and we had a lot of dairy foods and chicken eggs and that kind of stuff. That's what we ate most of all.
One item in particular that I've heard about that you ate a lot of, that you made from the milk. Do you remember that?
Oh, a lot of pudding. Yeah, pudding.
And some members of your family, grandkids yet today, really enjoy your homemade pudding. Not out of a box, but the homemade pudding. So I always remember you saying that you ate a lot of pudding.
Yeah, I guess I must have.
Well, I know that because of the difficult times, your family had to do a great deal of moving around. I don't know if you remember it, but I remember Grandpa Kronk telling me when I was younger that you moved maybe 10 to 12 different times during your childhood.
I don't remember how many times, but I do remember it was several times that we did move. And a lot of it was in North Liberty. We lived at above the corner restaurant there in North Liberty for a long time. And we moved down, lived in a house down by the school and another house down by the railroad. And so I can't tell you how many houses we lived in, but it was several.
Did a little bit of moving around, yeah. Well, although times were obviously difficult for everybody, not just the Kronk family, I've never heard you complain about the way things were, like many people your age have done. In fact, I think those hard times actually probably made you a stronger and more determined person. That's my opinion anyway. And I would imagine that birthday and Christmas gifts were sometimes just a little bit on the lean side. Is there any particular gift that you remember or still possibly have on hand?
Well, at that time we had what they called Dutch-made dolls, and Mom made me clothes for those dolls for Christmas, and Roger got a semi-truck, and we had a little black doggy, and he took that little doggy lots and lots of rides. His name was Mickey.
So you didn't have a great big spread back in those days.
No,
Usually a gift or two probably,
That's
huh?
right, yeah.
You still have those Dutch-made dolls?
Yes, I do.
Well, I just happen to have them with me today too.
That's that.
So how old would these Dutch-made dolls
Oh my
be?
goodness, I think I got them when I was about 7,
Okay.
or maybe 8, I don't know.
So they're 80 years old.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Still in pretty good shape. I know they've got a lot of scars and battle wounds from a lot of not just you playing with them, but your own kids and probably grandkids too.
Yeah.
So the clothes kind of cover things up. They're in a little bit of disrepair, but they're still around.
These are clothes I made for them.
Pretty recently?
Well, when my kids were young. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll say goodbye to the Dutch-made girls.
Bye-bye.
Or Dutch-made boy and girl, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned earlier that I think those Depression years probably made you more determined to succeed. And if you wanted or needed anything, I noticed as I was growing up that you would sometimes make things yourself, or you would try to do it all by yourself as opposed to running out and buying it. And you did it very well. Now, do you think that this is a result of the lean times that you experienced when you were a child?
Well, my mom made just about everything there was, and Dad too. They didn't have that much money, so they just had to do what they had to do. And I remember one time, Dad, when we lived in North Liberty, from our house, he dug a hole out to the middle of the road, and it was about 12 feet deep.
Wow.
And we had a severe storm one day, and all that water came in the basement, clear up to the basement floor. I mean, the
Top of the steps, huh?
Top of the steps.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I sure remember that. Yep.
So you mentioned that you had a great mother who taught you a lot of essentials, like what?
Everything: cooking, sewing, home permanence, you name it, everything.
Yeah. She was a great lady. I
Yep.
knew her for, well, up until my adult life. So, well, in just a few minutes, whether you like it or not, we'll talk more about the handiwork and the creativity that you learned and shared. But before we do that, let's just get a few dates verified and a few questions answered.
Okay.
What high school did you graduate from and what year?
Well, I graduated in 1949 from the Walkerton High School. We moved to Walkerton when I was in the middle of my freshman year. Mm-hmm.
And this picture is your senior picture, I take it.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful picture.
I had hair.
You had hair, huh? Here's a couple other pictures from your high school days that you haven't seen. I assume that's probably a prom picture.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, let's get it straight.
Yeah.
And were you a good student?
Yes, I was. I always was on the honor roll and honor society, and I always made good grades.
Must have been where I got it.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Not the case, but nonetheless, I'm glad you were. Were you in any clubs or sports or band or what?
Yeah, I was in band, and I did take piano lessons for many years, and never did get as good as Darla, but I still played. And played trumpet in the band. I directed the band.
Well, here, we got a picture of that. Here's a picture of Mom in her band uniform. Hopefully I'm holding it in the right place.
Yep,
Got her trumpet in hand. Love those uniforms.
yep.
Here's another picture, just the uniform. What year would you guess that is? Junior year, maybe?
No, I don't know. Too bad these pictures don't have the name. Where's my trumpet? Maybe it was earlier than that.
Could be. I don't know for sure. Got a few other pictures just from your high school days.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit more about this, but who's that in that picture?
Believe it or not, that's George.
George Henry. And that's before you graduated, I believe.
Yeah.
Standing out in front of Walkerton High School.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another picture of you when you were in school still, you and Dad.
Okay.
We're not going to elaborate on any particular thing too long, but is there anything else that you want to share about your high school years? You mentioned, you didn't mention it, but you started dating Dad, obviously, George.
Yes, I did.
What year of school were you in?
I was a sophomore.
So Dad would have been a junior.
Yeah,
He was a year
junior.
ahead of you.
That's right.
And did you have any jobs while you were still in school?
Well, yes, even before I left North Liberty, I had a job. I cooked for some neighbor that lived down the roads from us, and I would go there and clean their house, and so forth. That was before we moved to Walkerton. So, and after I moved to Walkerton, I don't think I had that many jobs.
That's why you were on the Honor Society.
There could have been.
Spent times with the books.
Yep.
And you also helped out on the farm quite a bit, I understand.
Yes, I did. I've done a lot of the farming with Dad, and I've done a lot of the cooking with Mom. She was showed me how to cook a lot, and we did the suppers and so forth, and cleaned houses and just everything.
Well, that kind of brings you up to the point where you graduated. And then just a short time after, something happened. What happened?
Oh, let me see.
January 1st.
January 1st, 1950, George and I got married.
So life as you knew it changed. And how so?
Well, the day we got married, there was a storm. We couldn't even go on our honeymoon that night. It was so bad, so stormy, and so rainy that we hid the car when we came home to our house.
I got a picture of that house here in a minute.
Okay.
So here's a picture of their wedding day. One of only 3 pictures that I know of from that day.
I don't have any
Maybe
pictures
4.
from that day.
Maybe 4. Yeah, I got 4. Here they are after they said their vows and are leaving the church. And you said there was a bad storm. This was January 1st, so obviously we're talking about a bad snowstorm.
But it was a lot of rain that night, too.
Really? Mm-hmm. These are out of order. This is before you left, but... Tell me who married you. Who was the pastor?
My Grandpa Oxley married me.
Yeah.
We were married in the Methodist church, which was the church that George went to at that time. And Grandpa Oxley came over there, and when he was doing our wedding vows, he got all... Because I was his first grandchild that got married, he kind of broke up and he said, "Oh, just exchange rings."
So you got a little bit emotional about his first granddaughter getting married,
yes,
huh?
He did.
Yeah. I never knew him. He was passed away before I was born, but
He was a good guy.
heard a lot of good things
Yeah.
about him and Grandma Oxley. Somewhere, here's a picture of your first house on New Road.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a monster.
No bathroom.
No bathroom at all.
We had a John outside did.
That was a little cold on those winter nights, I'm sure.
Yep.
Well, before you became a stay-at-home mom, in order to raise your family, where else did you have any jobs at? Maybe in town, maybe in South Bend even.
Yeah, I worked at Kresge's, it was called at that time. It's called Kmart now, but it was Kresge's at that time. And then I also worked in Robertson's department store, up in the layaway department. And I also learned how to paint pictures when I worked there.
We're going to cover that in just a minute
Oh,
here.
that's right. Okay.
That's all right. And I got a couple pictures out of sequence. Here's another one of Mom and Dad's wedding day at the reception in the Methodist Church. One of the few cake pictures you'll ever find in this house that Mom didn't make, but we'll talk more about that. And apparently Grandpa Oxley did a good job marrying him, because it's lasted, what, almost 70 years now.
Yep, it sure
This is a fairly recent picture of Mom and Dad. It's a couple years old. But I had to use what I had available. All right, so we will, throughout the course of the 50s, you did end up moving into a little bit bigger house. And I think we're still sitting in it today, aren't we?
Yes. George and I started building this house all by ourselves for a while, and then we did have some help come in too, but we drove the truck. We had an old truck that we drove over and got dirt in and so forth and so on, that I would drive over and get it, and some of the kids went with me too sometimes.
Yeah, not me.
We got it over on 23.
Bill Kapansky's gravel pit, I
Yeah,
believe. Here's just a few pictures of Mom and Dad building their house here that we're setting in yet today. And I know a lot of people helped you with that too. Recently I was talking to your brother, Paul Lamar, and he remembers carrying those heavy floor joists and helping to set those in place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he mentioned that. And here's a picture of Dad doing some masonry work. Here's a picture of Mom swinging a hammer, putting down the subfloor that we're sitting on right now. Well, our chairs are anyway. Dad waterproofing the outside of the basement walls. Kind of a wet site that you have here. So, and this is a picture of the house during construction, before any of the limestone or redwood siding was on.
I helped put on all the roofing shingles, and I was pregnant.
Well, that was
With this little boy right here.
that was pretty common in the 50s for you.
Yeah.
All four of your kids were born in the 50s.
Yep. So,
Yep.
but that was you.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No, not at all.
How about that?
Here's a picture of Mom and Dad with their young family. This is actually in the 60s. But all four kids, Mom and Dad in the background there. Well, when you worked at Robertson's department store, you became interested in a unique form of artwork. And you mentioned it a minute ago. It was adding color to sepia portraits.
Yes, there was a lady over there that painted all the pictures. At that time, they didn't come just like they do nowadays.
Colored,
And we had to paint them all. And she taught me how to do that, because I worked there and I just go over on my noon hour and stuff. And she was really nice and helped me learn all those things.
Taught you how to do that. And I know you colored a lot of pictures back in the 50s and 60s.
Yep, I did.
By chance, were these ones of Roger and Lamar ones that you added color to?
No, I don't think I.
You didn't do
Well,
these?
Rogers,
It looks
I
like
don't
somebody
know.
did.
I don't know.
I meant to
remember
bring
that.
some pictures for the camera, because I know she did a lot of our baby pictures, but this is an example of what she's talking about. That was probably a black and white sepia type picture that somebody came along and added color to. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like it.
It might have been. I just don't remember that.
But Mom's not taking credit for those.
No.
Anyway, I meant to bring some of the baby pictures that she did do, and I forgot them. Maybe we can include a few of those in the slideshow that'll be added to this video. Well, you were a stay-at-home mom, and once you began having children, at that point you took up another form of artwork. that involved your creativity and also your baking skills. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I don't know how I decided to do that. I just went in the town and bought a couple books and just started painting
Doing
cakes.
what?
Just showed you how to cake decorate.
Okay. The camera doesn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Because I pointed to our cheat
Yeah.
sheet here. But Mom's talking about decorating cakes, and that is something that she began probably as a result of having birthdays for her kids, but it blossomed into a lot more than that.
Yeah, I started when Darla was, I think she was only about 4 or 5.
Paula, probably.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But they were young, I know that, when I started painting their pictures.
No, I'm talking about cake decorating right at the
Oh,
moment,
cake
but that's all
decorating
right.
pictures.
I think you started the cakes right away. I found a picture of a cake that was probably for Paula's first birthday, even, that I shared with you a few days ago.
Okay.
I didn't
Yeah, that's
include
right.
I didn't include any of the pictures today, but we're going to add a little slideshow at the end of this video, and hopefully I can get Leanne to help me out with that, my daughter, and we'll do a little slideshow of a variety of the birthday cakes and the wedding cakes, and we're talking about hundreds of cakes.
Yeah.
And I mean hundreds. If I don't know if you touched 1,000 or not, but we're
either.
talking about a lot of cakes. I grew up on cake scraps. That was a contributing factor to the physique that I have yet to this day. But we'll try to include a slideshow for that, Mom, at the end of
Okay.
this video.
That'll be good.
You also, while you were a stay-at-home mom, you also had many skills that helped with the family finances.
Yep.
You were fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom, but I know some of the things you did helped, keep things in order as far as
Yep.
cost. One of the things that I was always amazed at is if you needed a piece of furniture and didn't necessarily have the finances to run out and buy it, you'd build it.
Yeah.
And I think it's still down in the basement to this day, this couch here.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's kind of like a ship in the bottle. She built it in the basement, and I don't think we can get it out of the basement. But to this day,
big.
at family get-togethers and that, people still sit on that couch. And that was totally handmade, including the framework and the upholstery work, by Mom back in the probably early 70s, I'm going to guess.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
So she did like to do, she became a very accomplished seamstress. And I know you made some other things for members
yeah.
of your family.
Yeah, I did.
She made both of her daughters' wedding dresses. Here's a picture of Paula's wedding dress. Here's a picture of Darla's wedding dress. Now these are surprises to Mom too. She doesn't
Yeah,
know
I
what I
didn't know
brought
you had
along.
that. How
Yeah, I
about
brought
that?
those along. I don't know how good they'll show up on the video. But Darla's wedding dress.
Guess what? I made them wedding dresses, but I didn't have one. I just had a dress when I
Yep.
got married.
Yep,
But that was good.
but it still lasted 70 years, the marriage.
Yeah,
So
it did.
and hopefully it'll continue.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. We're talking about. Here's one of your more recent things. This is a piece of furniture
Oh, yeah.
that Mom reupholstered within the last 5 years, I'm guessing, for Lisa and Zeb Kemp, which is Lisa's Mom's granddaughter. This was a. Go ahead.
That was Grandma Henry's.
Exactly. This was George's mother, your mother-in-law, a piece of furniture that she had, and when they were done with it, Lisa acquired it. I don't remember if she bought it at the auction or if it was given to her or
I
whatever.
don't remember that either.
But I know that she got Mom to reupholster it and did a remarkable job.
She still got it.
Oh, she better have. It's a nice piece of furniture, and I hope she's getting a lot of good use out of it. Now, one time you told me that you had a little problem with a piece of.
I certainly did.
Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, I had a chair that I was reupholstering, and you had to put your arm down in the back of it because it was fitting tight and so forth. I put my arm back in there, and I couldn't get it out.
Oh no!
And my little kids was out the back door playing, and I was just going crazy because I didn't want them to be out there by themselves. And it took me a long time, but I finally got my arm out.
Intact. They're both
Yeah.
still intact, it looks
Yep.
like. I got a little bit out of order with what we intended, how we intended to do this, but that sewing machine, that Singer sewing machine, I can remember as a kid waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes to go to the bathroom, and that thing would still be humming out here at the kitchen table. So whether it was upholstery work or clothing, Mom did a lot of sewing, and
Yeah.
I know that helped with the finances. In addition to using your talents at home, you also used them in many other ways. Much of the time at church. Now, how long did you go to the North Liberty Church of Christ, which formerly was called the Christian Church?
Well, when I was big enough to even go, that's my parents started taking me there
Yep.
because Grandpa actually taught there, and after Mom and Dad were married, where they always went there, and so that's where I started going to church too.
And as you got older, you began to take on some of the duties as an adult. What's some of the things you did at the church?
Well, I taught Sunday school for, I thought, about 23 years. I'm
Wow.
not sure. And I directed choir for the same amount of time. And I directed VBS for the same amount of time. And there was something else. The kitchen work. Yeah, I did that long before. That was when we used to wash all the little cups.
Communion
For
cups.
communion cups.
They were
We
glass,
Had,
huh?
We had to wash them all.
I used to get in on that when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't have a lot of pictures with me, but Mom mentioned that she directed choir for how many years did you say?
I think it was 23, 24 years.
I think I'm going to ask you some of these questions coming up. Taught Sunday school for about 20 years. Choir director for about 20 years. Here's a picture.
VBS director for 20 years or so.
More than that, I think even. Now, as a choir director, you did what, weekly or every other week maybe?
Nope.
Specials?
Well, you know what? I really don't remember. It's after a while they didn't have choir as often as what they used to years ago. So I can't really tell you that for sure.
But Sunday specials, typically in the early years, probably every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. And then cantatas, which they would have
Cantatas.
for what type of holidays?
Oh, Easter, Christmas, whatever.
Yep.
VBS.
Yeah, that's next on the list here. How many years do you think you were the VBS, Vacation Bible School director? And what all did that involve?
Well, that was just getting the classes all organized and getting help for all of them, and just help direct the teachers what to do and what they can paint or whatever they wanted to do, and we always used to have VBS for 2 weeks back at that time. Now it's only 1 week.
I'm not even sure if it's a full week nowadays, but nonetheless, it was a full 2 weeks long, lasted the whole morning. I remember going to those VBSs, and the sets were very elaborate that she worked on. I got a few pictures of some of the sets that I brought
really?
with me. Yeah, I do.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, is that Kayla? Is that some of your grandkids in there?
I can't even tell.
Might be. My glasses aren't powerful enough, but that particular year was kind of a barn setting, looks like. Not just backdrops, but props, three-dimensional props, little horsies.
I got to make the horses.
Yeah, I remember you making those. This particular year, what was that?
I don't know. I painted all that, I know that, but that's all I remember.
When I was still living at home, I can remember VBS ending, and within a week, you were already planning next year's.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. At least getting started. These are some of the elaborate props that were set up on stage every year. Here's an under the water one. I hope these show up on the video for...
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I know there's more professional ways to do it, but I'm not a professional.
I didn't know I was an artist until I looked at all these old pictures.
Yep, did a good job. Mountain scene. And these, the pictures don't do them justice. These were all the way across the stage. I
Yes,
mean,
they were.
large.
Yeah.
A lot of layout, a lot of
Yeah.
painting.
Yep.
So where are we at? VBS director. You did other activities too at the church. Here's,
Oh, yeah.
might as
Yeah.
well mention it. Church dinners.
Yeah, funeral dinners. I was in charge of that for quite a while, too.
You still help with them, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Communion prep, you'd mentioned that
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
So Mom was always there to lend her talents and her abilities with the church. But you're also well known for your family dinners here at the house. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I enjoy my family being here, and I love my whole family. Every one of you are so wonderful that I'm really happy with that. And I'd like to have as much as I can, but I know I don't do quite as much as I used to anymore. So.
Well, there's a few more than just 4 kids to feed anymore, too.
Oh, yes, there are
What's
just a
it
few.
grown to?
I think it's 43 now.
Yeah, it's up over
Yeah.
40.
Or 44 maybe. So.
And we happen to have, now this is not a family dinner, this is a picture that one of your grandkids took, Charity, recently. The family's kind of grown just a little bit.
When Brian had his retirement party.
Yep, up in Kenosha just a few short weeks ago. Brian and Nancy were ministers at Kenosha for 40 years. And everybody was able to make it to his retirement party.
I thought
And
that was awesome.
that's a picture that we got, Charity took for us that day. But back to the family dinners, there's one particular dish that everyone always seems to really enjoy. What might that be?
The noodles.
Everybody loves Grandma's noodles. And I don't know if she actually has a recipe, because most of the stuff she makes is by memory. And is there a recipe for those noodles? And can I share that recipe at the end of the video?
Well, you could, but I don't really have a recipe. I just use a whole bunch of egg yolks and a couple eggs that are the whole eggs, and throw in the flour and the salt, and that's it.
Makes it sound pretty easy, but they always turn out fantastic. So maybe I can get her to write it down, and we'll include it as a slide in the little slideshow that we're going to put at the tail end of this video. Well, Mom, that's about all I'm prepared to talk to you about today. You've obviously led a very active life, and I want to give you just in case I forgot about something or you didn't elaborate on something enough, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Well, I can't think of anything. I think I had on my list what I've already said. I just appreciate my family so much, and they've all been so wonderful. And I appreciate being one of God's children, and I'm so glad that all of you are too. That's wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you for taking this time today to do this. I got a few closing comments I want to make. Mom or Grandma Henry or great-grandma, whatever she is to you, is obviously a very talented lady who has, for the most part, used her talents and her gifts to benefit others and to serve God. If she wasn't sewing, she was painting baby pictures. If she wasn't cooking, she was building furniture. If she wasn't leading choir, she was probably decorating cakes. If she wasn't taking care of the lawn, she was probably building VBS sets. And all this while being a great mother to 4 kids and a helpmate to Dad for, like I said, 70 years almost. And 1 Peter 4, verse 10 says, "As each of you has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace." So in closing, Mom, I just want to say thank you for reluctantly sharing this time on camera with us. And I appreciate your cooperation and your input. And for the younger members of our family that might see this video down the road, I hope that you now have a little bit better idea of what Mom was all about and how she spent her time. And I would also like to thank Leanne and Patrick. They probably don't know it yet, but they're going to help me kind of clean this thing up and help me prepare a slideshow, I hope. And I just want to thank them for editing that and merging things together. So Thanks for listening, everybody.
God bless you all. Thank you.
morning, everyone. Today is February 1st, 2020, and today I'm here with my mom in her very own kitchen where she's prepared meals and baked cakes for some 60 years now, right?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Tell everybody hello, Mom.
Hi, everybody. Nice talking to you.
And behind the camera today is my loving wife, Patty, and I thank her very much for taking on this task. Say hi, Patty.
Hi, Patty.
Well, the purpose of this portion of the video is for Mom to share a few of her little tricks and secrets for creating cake masterpieces that she's so well known for. And also maybe I can get a piece of cake out of the deal at the end. Mom, I've seen cakes both big and small come out of this kitchen, and all of them, in my opinion, have been professionally decorated. What's the biggest cake that you ever remember making?
I think it had 6 or 7 layers. I think it was 6.
And how many people do you suppose a cake like that would feed?
Oh, my goodness, I don't know. I really don't.
I would
think it
say
was about 500.
Yeah, in the neighborhood of 500 or so. And how many cakes do you think you probably have made through the years? I know you didn't keep track, but
Oh, my heavens. I'd probably 20 some wedding cakes and I don't know, hundreds of the others.
I know that little album right over there has several hundred wedding cakes in it. And I've done a little calculation, and with family cakes and birthday cakes and wedding cakes, I would say it's well over 1,000 cakes, to be honest with you, Mom.
I don't know.
So I think we'll go ahead and get started with the demonstration and let Mom show us a few of her little secrets. And I think I'll get on the other side of the camera, Mom, so you can do your magic without anybody having to look at me.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Let me move over
All
here.
right. Can I start now?
Yeah, first of all, I want to ask you a couple questions. What's your favorite brand of cake mix that you've always used?
What kind did I
Pils-
say? Pillsbury, yes.
Well, why do you like Pillsbury? Is there any reasons that you like it?
I don't know, it's just what I've always used, and I just like the flavor of it.
You like the flavor of it, and the moistness is one thing your cakes have always been known for, right?
Right.
And from a decorating standpoint, does Pillsbury hold their shape better or anything like that as far as making creations?
Well, I don't know, they work well because that's all I've ever used, and I hardly ever buy a different brand.
All right, so Pillsbury it is. And you just follow the instructions on the cake mix, or do you
Yes.
tweak it? Okay.
No,
So for a white cake, which is what most people favor, I think, do you use the whole eggs, or how do you do that?
No, I just use egg whites and save all the egg yolks in for noodles.
Okay, so for a white cake, you just use the egg whites, and then you save the yolks back so you can make homemade noodles with those. Well, I'll tell you what, that could be another entire video, all of its own, but we'll at least share the recipe for noodles when we edit this video. I see that you've already baked and began frosting our cake ahead of time. How do you get the frosting so smooth?
Just beat it, and beat it, about 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, and the mix master over here, then you whip it up real smooth and
Yes.
a nice even creamy consistency. And then like any craft, I'm sure there's little secrets that you use. If I were smearing that on there, it would look like I used a rake. How do you get it so smooth?
Just with a smooth knife.
Okay, do you ever put water on that trowel or anything? I guess it's not a trowel, it's a spatula when you're in a kitchen.
Well, occasionally, but not very often.
Okay, well, what kind of frosting is that? What do you call that?
This is just white frosting.
Like a buttercream frosting?
Yeah, well, I use oil, a package of that, a small piece of that, and what's the other kind? Good heavens.
Well, buttercream frosting, I know it's got to have sugar in it of some kind. Powdered sugar?
Yeah, just cake mix, cake icing. I'm sorry, I can't think of things.
No, that's okay. You're trying to do your work, and I'm asking you questions at the same time. I think it's got Crisco in it, right?
Yes.
And probably has powdered sugar, a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
What else might be in there?
Some.
A little bit of milk, maybe?
Yeah, 4 tablespoons of milk, and then I always use Oh, Brian, I shouldn't have.
It's all right. No problem. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll sit down and collect our thoughts on that, and we'll when we edit the video, we'll have your recipe for frosting
Good luck.
on the screen. Well, it's going to take a little while to do the initial frosting there of the cake, and then we'll get into having you share some of your secrets. I'd like to have you show the camera how to do the edges and maybe scallops, and I always liked your flowers because I got to eat the ones that didn't turn out quite right when I was a kid, and maybe do some handwriting on there. So once we get the cake frosted, then we'll work on some decorating tricks. Now she's getting a rolling pin out. I don't know if
She's
she's
gonna hit
mad.
you on the head with it.
If she's mad at me, she's got a little secret there that I've never seen or heard of.
See, that makes it nice and smooth.
All right. Well, that's why we're doing this video, is for you to share some of your secrets.
Yeah.
Did you know that could be done, Patty, with the rolling pin?
No, I did not.
I didn't either.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
And sometimes it doesn't work.
You've always used a wooden rolling pin, huh? I know yours is, what's yours made out of, Patty?
Marble.
Marble?
But I have a wooden one too. That's a good idea. I knew about wetting the spatula, but I like the rolling pin idea real well.
Yeah, I always use that. Well, that'll probably be all right. Try to get the flowers
See
on
how
there.
smooth that is?
It's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it were concrete, I could get it smooth like that, but you'd have to let it set up a while. You take your time, because we can stop the video for a little bit if we need to, and you get it the way you want it.
I'm
Nice.
not a professional, you know.
Well,
Yes, you are.
I beg to differ with you.
That's a nice cake board. Where'd you get that cake board?
Oh, George made it for me.
Is that out of your countertop or?
Oh, I don't know where it came from. Oh, shuckies, look what I did. Darn it, I'm sorry.
Don't rush it, Mom. Take your time, all right?
Yeah,
You got lots of time.
but now I gotta do that. Again.
Because we all know it has to be perfect.
Well, it may not be.
Beautiful.
See, there is a secret using the water that really smoothed it up, it looks like.
Mm.
I think you should have been a cement finisher. You're pretty good at that.
Okay, now I need to...
Is that all the smoother it normally has to be, or are you trying to?
No, that'd be, I'll put some flowers here and some flowers over there. Maybe I better fix that little hole right there.
Looking good.
I don't use plastic bags, I just use paper.
Wax
Well, plastic
paper.
bags are nice, but I don't like to wash them.
This looks interesting. I want to zoom in on what you're doing there. So you're making the tip extra strong by doubling it up. I imagine when the frosting gets down in there, that wax paper kind of dissolves a little bit, so that's a good idea.
Get in there.
So what kind of tip do you call that? What is that? Do you know?
Nope. It's just a number. Can't even tell you the number.
But you use it just to go around the edge, huh?
Yeah.
Is he giving you fits? He doesn't want to stay in there, huh?
It did, didn't it?
Yep.
I say, I hope so.
There he comes.
Look how fast she does that. Gracious. Gracious, gracious. Let's get around here.
So you're doing the top and the bottom edge, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty much your signature edge that you use, or do you do other types?
Mostly I do something similar to this. Uh-oh.
And you're doing kind of a crisscross. One's going one direction, then the next one the other, it looks like.
Yep, that's right.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. That just gives me chills.
Man, I'm out of frosting already.
One thing that was nice about growing up in a house where cakes were decorated every week, never ran out of frosting. I'd come home after school and grab some graham crackers and smear some frosting on it when Mom wasn't looking, and that was why I am the way I am today.
You told me a story about a time you took a fingerful of ice cream and what happened?
Oh, icing?
Icing.
Yeah. Mom was making icing once in her Mixmaster, and I thought I would get a jump on things, and she saw me walk over there and reach in and get a glob of frosting, at least what I thought was frosting. What I found out was it was really just the start of frosting. It was nothing but Crisco.
Oh, yeah.
And it was less than desirable, I'll tell you.
I would think so.
But you let me do it just for honor, just to teach me a lesson to keep my fingers out of the bowl.
I don't even remember that.
I do. So we got another batch going here.
I'm going to try and get around the other side to see if I can see it at a different angle. Excuse me, Wilda.
Which edge you doing next? This one or this
No,
one?
I got it. I didn't do this very good job right here. I'm going to have to do that again. You know what? I don't decorate cakes as often as I used to, and I do forget how to do things. And that's not good.
Well,
Yeah, well, I know you feel rushed, and you shouldn't, because we can edit out anything we want to on this video that takes too long. You just take your time. Beautiful.
it sure is. So your top edge is different than the bottom edge. Is that,
Oops,
do you
I did
always
that.
do that, or
No, I don't always, but
you
a
just
lot
chose
of
to
times I
this
do.
time? I see.
Oops.
Got an air bubble, huh?
Great. No, the paper just ripped.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Doggies. Now, why'd that have to happen? I don't know.
That's all right. That way we get another close-up of how you make those little funnels, I call them.
Funnels.
Or, I don't know what they're called.
cones.
Gosh, I don't know why that did that.
It's all part of the experience. Time to make another cone. We're going to be pros at this by
It
the
has
end
to
of
be
the
this
video.
long.
Okay.
14
Is that a
inches.
square or a rectangle? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I didn't
so.
measure it.
Now, one thing I noticed a little bit ago, you said you didn't like something, and like with any craft, you have to know how to fix your mistakes when they happen. I noticed you took it right off and just redid it, so persistence pays off.
Those tips over on your plate, are those your favorite tips? You use
Well,
those a lot, or just?
This is the ones I wanted to use
I
today.
see. Oh wow.
Some of the others I use too. Some of them are the same thing, only different sizes.
So you plan on doing plenty of dishes after you're done
Yeah.
frosting a cake?
Gee, I wish I could stay for that.
Really?
Tell her the last time you did a dish, honey. That's what you got me for, right?
This is on film. I'm not going to elaborate. Looking great.
Oh, it sure is.
Well, I finally made it.
Yay! Look at that.
So we're all done?
No, we're not done.
It's
Oh.
pretty just like that.
Okay. Now I'm going to make some flowers.
Ooh,
Do I need
cool.
to get out of your way?
What kind of flowers are you going to make?
I'm going to make some roses.
Let me put it this way. Oop.
So yet another cone, huh?
Yep. This will be a red one.
We're all pros at making cones by now.
Show them the tip up close. So it's kind of
Okay,
flat.
uh-huh. A
Pardon?
narrow on one end and wider on the other.
About a ½ inch wide, it looked like, maybe.
Yeah.
Then you use one of these animals,
What do you call that?
a tip.
Use a little frosting for glue, huh?
Oh, yes, you do.
So that little plate that you're using, look at that. It's got like a nail soldered onto a little dome-shaped piece of tin so you can turn it.
Sorry.
Look at that. Can't grow flowers that fast. That's a pretty darn good looking rose. Little glue.
Yep.
You know, all these years you've convinced everybody that it takes hours and hours and hours to do this, but I don't know now. It's pretty fast. Look at that rose.
I always thought you had to put them in the freezer, but you don't, huh?
Well, I like to let them set and dry a little more than what I am today.
Oh, yeah, I see. I'm gonna get a different angle now. Zoom in. Try and get a bird's eye view. Oop, sorry. She's so fast. Oh, you use scissors. I didn't notice that the last time. Oops.
Got quite a bouquet started there.
Yep. I will admit my icing is just a hair too thin. I don't know how I did that, but I did.
Maybe it's been warm for a while sitting out on the counter. Maybe that's...
No.
No?
I mixed it up last night, but I set it out on the back porch.
Hmm.
Brought it in this morning to get it a little warmer.
Looks good to me.
Now, do you make rosebuds the same way?
Mm-hmm. I'll show you in just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Here's a rosebud.
Okay, now wait a minute.
Whoops, and it wasn't a good one. This icing is just too thin. Darn it.
So they're just growing out of the cake. Are you gonna have any greenery?
Yep, it's coming.
So the greenery comes after the blossom. I didn't. I never realized that.
Not in real life.
Oh. No. Maybe that's why mine don't ever look right.
Am I giving you lessons?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say though, my icing is not, I don't know why. I measured it, you know, like I was supposed to, but
Now, when you design the top of a cake, do you have anything, any rule of thumb, like each corner or alternate corners have something, or do you just go with what you feel like that day?
well, I try to make up a plan ahead of time a little
Okay.
bit and do that. And sometimes it doesn't work, so then I do
So
something
there's
else.
the plan right there.
That wasn't a very good plan.
Oh,
I didn't draw it very good.
Looks like it's coming together.
sorry.
More flowers yet, huh?
Yep.
We got
Few
that
more.
red icing. We're gonna use it, by golly.
Oops. Get back over there. And one more, and then we'll go for the other ones. And the leaves.
When I make leaves, they always have a bifurcated tip, and I know that's not ideal. I wonder if it's because of my frosting consistency.
Well, I hope it's better than this one. I don't know how this happened, but it did. I measured everything last night.
That one's not turning out. You better get rid of
Yeah, I see why you did that.
Okay. I'll try it again.
it. Now I hope you don't run out of red.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's much better.
When you're holding the tip, the fat end is down. But the tip in the cone.
The one side's fatter than
Yeah,
the other.
it's-
Okay,
down.
the tip, the fat tip is down. Oops, sorry guys.
Aren't you glad you redid that one? See how pretty that is?
Yes, actually, you're right. It is
Okay.
the prettiest one.
All right, now I'm going to make some leaves.
Out with the red, in with the green, huh?
Yep. And some yellow. If you think you want yellow on there or not?
Yellow what?
Oh, maybe just a little flower or something.
Sure.
Or writing, maybe?
Well, you want darker
I
in
got
writing.
brown for writing.
It's your cake, your imagination. I'm strictly quality control.
Oh, I see. Come on, you. Where are you? Here you are. Here you are. Here's the one I want.
Let's zoom in first on what that tip looks like, Wilda.
Oh, okay. Just a second here.
Oops, I gotta find it. There it is. Okay, so it's, oops, hold it still for a minute, okay? All right.
Kind of a duck,
Got it.
Kind of a duck bill looking thing.
It does kind of look like a duck bill. Now they're looking more and more like flowers. More and more.
You make it look easy.
Well, this is an easy job here with the flower, or with the leaves.
But even letting off at the right time so the leaves come to a point. And that's something that takes practice if anybody's going to try this.
Well, it all takes practice, honestly.
Like any craft.
Well, you know what? I don't make as many as I used to, and I can tell a difference in how I do it anymore. I miss it.
So, rule for the younger generation, use it so you don't lose it, right?
That's right.
Now that corner right there would be a piece that George would love.
Yeah. Corner piece with lots of frosting.
I made these colors a little bit darker than usual because I thought maybe you needed it on the picture. I didn't know.
Yeah, a little contrast so
I
they
like
show
it.
up better. It's pretty. So you had these colors made ahead of time, but it's just the regular white frosting that you put something in to
Yeah,
give it.
yeah. I made them last night.
And you just use regular food coloring?
Oh, no.
Oh, I don't know.
No, you use regular cake coloring.
Is it like a paste or is it just concentrated color?
Oh, here you are.
Look at all the colors.
Well, I got another box just like it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So that's kind of liquidy. Are these liquidy or pasty?
Pasty. It's a pasty. These are kind of a paste, but they do pour out a little easier.
And you just keep adding it till you get the color you want and whip it up with a spoon?
Yep.
Okay.
Now let's see. I'll put a little bit of yellow on them yet.
So it's actually icing color, it's called.
And they're not that cheap.
But they probably last a long, long time, huh?
Have you found that the color, as the frosting sits, the color kind of intensifies?
Yes, sometimes it does. I made something, the last cake I made, I thought it was just the color I wanted. When it got dried, I thought, oh no, I didn't want it like that. It was too late then.
I've had walls turn out that way. So I see different brands too. You got Wilton, which is a big name in cake
I
decorating.
like the Wilton.
This one is Americolor.
Yeah, I get that at
The
that's-
candy shop?
No, the one in South Bend. I mean, up farther. I can't even think of the name of
Mishawaka? I think it's the candy shop, isn't it?
it. No, it's not.
Oh,
They have a regular cake place too that you can buy these.
This company's not too proud of their name. Doesn't have a name on it.
I don't like these as well as I do those, but when that's what you
yes.
get, that's what you get.
Oh, this is Wilton. It says on
It looked
top.
like a Wilton container.
So Wilton's probably the go-to for the you beginners.
Oh, I can't find my
You're
one.
looking for a-
Here it is. My yellow.
And I think it's crucial that you throw that thing down in there like that.
Yeah, every second counts here. Time's money. So this is gonna be more flowers or what?
Just a few, not many.
Okay. Oh, that's a different kind
May
of
I
tip.
see the tip?
Let me
Okay, it's not, it looks like a daisy on the end, doesn't it?
Huh. Nice looking bouquet.
Yeah. Gives a little contrast.
Need a couple more yellow ones.
You got
Quality
one?
control.
Is that okay?
Perfect.
All right. Whoops. That's not okay.
There, now it is.
There.
Very pretty. Oh.
Now, what was I supposed to write on here?
Are you
first?
sure that's frosting?
Well,
Oh, you thought you were gonna do some diapers 101. What do we want to write on here? What do you
Yeah.
think? You'll understand why later. I want you to write sweet memories on there.
sweet memories.
Sweet
Okay.
memories. That's all you gotta write.
Okay. Well, I can't find the one I want. How about that?
As an amateur, and I mean a real amateur cake decorator, I think the writing is the hardest part. Getting the writing to look.
Okay. You
Fancy.
how would you like it? Going this way or this way?
I think because of the way you've got these, going diagonally would look best, don't you,
Yeah.
Patty?
You do? Okay.
What kind of tip you got in there now?
Oh, it's a writing tip.
So it's just
And
a
there's-
little circle-like.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's several different sizes.
He went away.
Okay.
It's about a 1/16 of an inch in diameter, it looks like. And it looks like you got a lot of different ones.
That's what she just said.
Yeah, I do.
For this size of a cake, probably smaller is better, huh?
Yeah.
Somehow I see. Somehow I envisioned not a pretty cake when we got done here today, since we were just doing demonstrations, but this is very nice looking.
This would have been about a $30 cake
Oh,
or more.
I don't like the way that one looks.
which one?
Okay,
This one.
$29.50.
Yeah. It's a second now, huh? I tell you what, we'll never know that that's like that pretty soon.
So those are little vines. That certainly does add dimension, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not just a food item, it's an art.
Yes, it is.
Looks like about 12,000 calories worth of art.
Yeah, that's about right. Actually, these would look better if the icing wouldn't have been quite as thin as
Looks
it
good
is.
to
I'm
me.
sorry. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Now, what'd you say to write?
Sweet,
Sweet
memories.
memories.
So you totally freehand this, huh? Huh. So a little calligraphy skills doesn't hurt either, does it?
Nope.
Oh, I wonder wonder if she was going to cross her T.
Gotta cross her T and dot her I's. You can still tell that's an S. Oh, wow, good recovery. Sweet memories.
I think I'm done.
I think you are too. Let's turn it around so I can see it. Oh, what a lot of work.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. I
I
think I'll
wouldn't know
come
it's
back over here.
beautiful,
I think it's beautiful. Very nice.
but do I?
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you
Appreciate
for showing
it.
us.
Yeah, I do appreciate you showing us some of the tips on cake decorating. And in this video that we're putting together, Leanne has created a slideshow that shows just a few of the cakes that you've made through the years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that'll be included in the video.
Well, they probably were bitter a long time ago.
Well, you probably weren't quite under the gun as much as you were today here. I know you tried to hurry, but it sure doesn't show it. Looks great. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say? Or any other tips that you want to add?
Don't make your icing this.
This running?
Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah. Well, I guess that's the best.
Well,
I
it
can
is
do.
beautiful, and I gotta say, it's not the biggest cake I've ever seen you make.
No.
And it's probably not even the fanciest cake that I've ever seen you make, but it is beautiful. And I don't have a whole lot more to say unless you do.
I don't know what it would be. I'm sorry that didn't come out very good.
It's perfect.
No, it's not.
Well, I got a fix for that. You got any a plate and a fork by chance?
Yes, I do.
Maybe a knife to
Help
cut
yourself. Help yourself.
it? Well, we'll fix that flour in a short order.
Oh, I was going to fix it now.
Well, this will have to be the end of the video because we do have our work cut out for us on cleaning up this cake. You got any coffee ready?
It's ready to go.
We'll turn it on here in a minute. So again, I want to say thank you, and I'll say goodbye to everybody. And you want to say goodbye to them as well?
Goodbye, everybody. I tried to do a good job, but it
You
could have been
did.
better.
You
Well, that's
certainly
great.
did.
We appreciate your time, and Patty, we appreciate you filming this for us
Yes,
My
too.
pleasure.
So with that, I'll say goodbye, everybody.
Wait a minute, I'm taking this one off, Patty.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Oh, that's much better.
That looks like one I did.
There, now
Ooh,
that
that
looks
is
better.
pretty. Yes. Good call. Very nice.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Could have put another leaf over here, but that's the way it goes. Well, we made it.